what you're doing.
All right. So my name is Dave Inman. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. You can see here, Virginia ranks highly on aggregate public school measures, which means that we're complacent about how good our schools are. But we also have persistent achievement gaps with our students. So, for example, 16% of our African American 8th graders are proficient, only 16% proficient in reading on an 8. We've had a really intractable policy.
Other mic.
Wrong button. I did something wrong.
There you go.
Really intractable policy environment, so we're slow as molasses, which is what that is. So we don't have the types of organizations like TFA or charter management organizations that attract really high quality human capital. So I've been wondering with this question of how do we empower teachers who are in this existing slow-moving system to dream big and think about ways that they can reinvent their own practices in their schools and their classrooms and take small steps to get there. So what I've identified a need for is both community to empower these teachers and resources to help give them ideas. The way that
I got it.
There's that question. So the way I've been testing the community thing is by bringing people together in community. So I posted a bunch of meetups with teachers and asked them to ask big questions. They've asked things like, how do I combat the toxic environment in my school? That was pretty big, to smaller questions like, how do I find a mentor? And depressing questions like, how do I keep doing this? The resources piece is the next thing that I've been testing, and a lot of what I've been doing here is trying to think about ways that we can, take what works really well in places like New Orleans and give teachers access to it on demand and cheaply and without a lot of their time. So the first thing I tested a lot this week was podcasting. So I went into schools and I talked with teachers and I recorded classrooms and I had some actual teachers listen to a prototype of a podcast and got a little bit of feedback on that, which is that they would listen again, which was the main thing that was good, but also that it was really important that the theme was relevant to them and that they wanted to hear more specific practical information about what they could use in their classrooms. My next steps are to continue with the meetups and the community building, but to really try to focus them on action. They've pretty much turned into bitch fest so far. I would like to keep working on the podcast idea, but I think that it's maybe a little too focused on people who are auditory learners or something. So I also have a bunch of other media ideas. I've got a lot of photos from this trip. I'd like to do video at some point and other web resources.